gotta warn you before going forward, I know everybody thinks Doctor Who is like a family-friendly show and everything, and until now I have never seen or heard any references in Doctor Who pertaining to a swear word, but in this book, there is one cuss. I shan't be saying it, just in case my mother watches this. But be son of a...
I don't have a musical intro.
The Resurrection Casket, written by Justin Richards, is another Doctor Who novel featuring the 10th Doctor and Rose Tyler. This is the first one in my collection I've read so far that gives a fairly solid indication of roughly where it takes place in the TV show's continuity, with a direct reference to New Earth, so fairly early on in Season 2. The author's choice of characterization is pleasing. A little more camaraderie and a little less spite. Bearing in mind I've just come from reading The Stone Rose and especially Feast for the Drowned. And thankfully the choice of sentence structure has returned to somewhat normal, so I can read it easily without being tripped up by the writing style. Although I will say I was a little worried in the start there when no less than 10 mentions were made of characters clicking their tongues. He clicked his tongue, the Doctor clicked his tongue, Kevin clicked his tongue, he spun round, clicking his tongue. Was that ever a defining characteristic of David Tennant's Doctor? Clicking his tongue? If so, I'm never going to be able to unnotice it. Anyway, that faded out over the first few chapters, so it was an easy read. Now it's time we talk about the story, and thank goodness we are 3 for 3 in this book review series, because this one is a steampunk, space pirate adventure with enough twists and awesome revelations to keep you hooked throughout the entire tale. I wouldn't go so far as to call it swashbuckling, despite the pirate theme, because although there's a lot of action, and yes, admittedly a sword fight with a direct callback to the Christmas invasion, it doesn't overshadow what this novel does best. And what this novel does best is intrigue and character relations. Each and every single side character has heart and personality and is equally memorable. I want to know more about the carriage driver. Come on, Russell T, give him the old Torchwood treatment. Where's my spin-off show? Right, so things kick off this time when the TARDIS stops working. Oh my goodness, the TARDIS is dead. What a monumentous occasion, the likes of which we've never seen and likely never will again. Materializing at a small mining colony within the Zig being a region of space with a very strong technological interference, meaning that all technology essentially ceases to function, including the TARDIS and the sonic screwdriver. To get around this, everything is powered by steam. Pistons and gas, greasy oil puddles everywhere. It's a literal steampunk world, and it's fantastic. Think the space pirates from the Ratchet & Clank Future Saga meets Mortal Engines. Yes, I referenced Peter Jackson's Mortal Engines. My partner's in that movie, so therefore, it's my favourite movie. Okay, maybe that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I do love the aesthetic created by the author here. And the intrigue, oh man! A boy with a thirst for the stars, mysterious men with secrets to hide, a hulking, ferocious, shadowy beast with really polite manners? I honestly want to tell you everything that goes on in this story, but there's this amazing character twist, and right near the very end, there's this unexpected revelation that I was so shocked I literally had my jaw on the floor like, what? I couldn't remember being that, just dumbfounded by a surprise twist since I think, the governor killed Herschel back in season 4 of The Walking Dead. What is that, 9 years ago? I'm getting old. To boil it down to its simplest form, this is part treasure hunt, part escape novel, only with space pirates. And an awful lot of steam. So many thought out details like ship designs, steam powered mechanics, and the titular resurrection casket itself. In an ingenious move, almost no mention is given to the casket throughout the book because there's so much else going on, to the point where when it does show up, I'm like, oh yeah, that's the name of the book. Really adds a sense of mystery to this mysterious box of mystery. And it ultimately provides the biggest surprise moment that absolutely makes the story for me. I'm serious, I was enjoying it enough, but that moment where I put 2 and 2 together before the revelation was just mind-blowing. Man, reading can be fun. I can't think of any outright bad elements. I suppose a critic may point out that the whole running away, barricading the door, then running away again might get a bit repetitive after the 3rd attempt, but it didn't particularly bother me, and it was all in service of the story. And the most bizarre elephant in the room, this massive, murderous creature that talks like a regular, apologetic bloke, could have easily gone the way of a certain fantasy element I didn't really like in The Stone Rose, but here they totally commit to it, and do enough explaining to make me buy it completely. Honestly, I'm not picking favourites because, like I said, we're 3 for 3 so far, but the more I think about the Resurrection Casket, the more I realise just how brilliant it is. So many little details returning to me. I can't think of a time in my life where I've read a book twice. Maybe the Book of Genesis? The Very Hungry Caterpillar? But I would easily revisit this one sometime, if only to pick up all the clues hidden throughout that would make more sense with future knowledge. Oh, I told myself I wasn't going to recommend anyone go out and buy these books because they've been well out of print for over 10 years. And at least for me, the only listings I can find are new paperback copies for $40 to $50 here in New Zealand. But if you can suss yourself out a digital copy or anything, I wholeheartedly recommend giving this one a go. Obviously, manage your expectations. My biggest fear is overhyping something for someone, leading to their eventual disappointment. But yeah, read The Resurrection Casket, and The Stone Rose, and Feast for the Drowned. Do whatever you want, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone and it makes you happy. If you want to check out my previous review, The Feast of the Drowned, you can check it out right here, or my next book review will be The Nightmare of Black Island. I'm several pages in and already characters have clicked their tongues twice. Thank you as always for watching, you're amazing.